Yo, what's good, y'all? This is OMA, one who may ascend. Right now, we are discussing the behind the lyrics of Thick Hoe Sex Worker. This is the Thanos Skywalker parody remix. May or may not be on the same beat. I don't know. By the time that you're hearing this, it currently definitely is. I actually, at the time of this recording, it is Wednesday, May 7th, and I just finished recording the Thanos Skywalker BTL. So I'm actually recording this like minutes later. This one won't be as drawn out, because we covered a lot of the basics in the original Thanos Skywalker behind the lyrics. So no need to explain why I guess it's a little bit different. Why the song came into existence, how the song came to existence is pretty much the same. We're definitely going to still do a bar by bar, line by line analysis. Song influences, inspirations are kind of similar, but like I said, this is a remix, so it's almost like a direct reflection of the original, or at least an inspired piece. The prospective recording of the song is the same. The creative is a little bit different, obviously due to the nature of the explicit content. Some of these things don't necessarily require an explanation, but I just want to give you a little insight on a few of these things here. So why did this song come into existence? Big question, right? Well, long story short, if y'all are already familiar with the story of Thanos Skywalker, the why, the reason that came into existence, the story behind it, and how long it's been, since I've been unable to express this creative expression. Like I said, in the original behind the lyrics, I wrote this song at the latest in late November of last year. At the earliest, probably it was like at least an idea, August of 2024. And it's still not recorded, and I still haven't shared it with anybody as of today, May 7th. And I'm planning to record it on June 1st. And even then, it probably still won't even be released. We're looking at August, and depending on the reception of the Thanos Skywalker song, we may or may not be releasing this one at least until October of 2025. So long story short, I'm sitting on all of this bottled up, constrained, restricted creativity for months with no outlet or ability to show or share with like anybody. Like I said, not even my team, only my dad and my brother saw the original Thanos Skywalker song when I showed them in December. Definitely not showing them this song, but at least not yet. I'm sure word will get around. But like I said, it's because of all that bottleneck, constrained creativity, and frustration. I said, hey, what if like I remix this? We had this one instance. We were, as a team, internally, we were A&Ring some of our songs, like, if, let's say these flop or whatever, even if they don't, we have a lot of other songs, like hundreds, so we're trying to determine what other songs to share, what's worthy of releasing to the public, that low-hanging fruit, that's going to capitalize and garner like a significant attention, audience, and everything like that. We have one of our team members who will we won't name Maria, but at one point it was concluded, I guess, for lack of a better word. One of our team members specifically, maybe I wouldn't doubt all of our team members, but only one person said something about it, which is totally fine. That some of the lyrics of our songs are very risque. Those were the words that were used, So I just thought that was interesting. I thought it was funny, because of like all of like, I mean, and yeah, some of my lyrics, like, they do deserve criticism. Some of them are worthy of criticism, and some things I do say purposely to invoke a reaction. And a lot of that is because it's just reflective of the nature of the world in which we currently inhabit, whether that's, things of violent nature, or questionable morality, all sorts of things, So I just thought that was interesting. Of all the things that was criticized, it was like that was the one thing that was mentioned, So I'm just like stewing and thinking about this after probably like the day after a meeting or something like that. And I'm like, what? Yeah, if I'm risque now, we'll just wait until, Thanos Skywalker drops, even though like Thanos Skywalker doesn't have really any explicitly overt, sexual themes. There's no like sexual nature involved in the original song. I just like came up with some ideas. Again, like I said in the original Thanos Skywalker behind the lyrics, currently I'm driving for Uber in Southern California right now. So I had these passengers. Since this, recording is much closer to the creation of this song, I could be much more specific with my timeline and dates, especially regarding the creation of Heaux Sex Worker, as opposed to Thanos Skywalker was written a little bit time ago. And again, emphasis on the written. I write my own shit, no AI influence other than the production of the beat. Once again, I can actually find the exact date of the inception of this song, because I remember when and where I was when I was writing it in my mind, mentally, because I was taking this private not a Uber trip, but it was a private client trip for one of the companies that I work for, and it was from the border, from CBX in Mexico up to LAX airport. This was April 10th. So at the time of this recording, it hasn't even been a full month, and I'm still kind of editing some of the lines. So I don't know the final version. If you get, in this behind the lyrics production will be reflective of the actual song, because it's still, I wouldn't say hot off the press. It's been almost a month now, but like I said, with the Thanos Skywalker, even weeks, months after I had actually written it, I was still editing it, and I still find myself editing Heaux Sex Worker on occasion here now and then. But that was the original date of inception, that day, April 10th of this year, 2025. So like I said, it was basically written the same way for the most part, like I mentioned in the Thanos Skywalker behind the lyrics. And make sure you check that out if you haven't already. I did a lot of it like mentally. Like, that's a long fucking trip. It was I've done longer, but it's a long trip from basically the border, San Diego, wherever, up to LAX airport. You add traffic on top of that. That's a good like 2 or 3 hours, So the whole family, they're all speaking Spanish. I'm just here brooding in my thoughts, and thinking about these ideas and the lines and everything like that. So when we get to the bar by bar, line by line analysis, I'll tell you which one of those came first. Priorities, which one was some of my favorite lines, they're all good lines, of course. Some of the double entendres, maybe some of the things that you missed. And like I said, I'm still putting a lot of this together, so you might have a different version by the time that this production comes out. But this should just give you a pretty good basis of foundation point to jump off on. So obviously we kept the same beat. Again, like I said, at least at the time of this recording, it's the same beat as the original song, Thanos Skywalker. And not unlike the original Thanos Skywalker song, it again started with the hook, the title, So the title of this song, I'm trying to remember what the original title was. I think Sex Worker came pretty immediately. And just, like the first line, I think that came pretty immediately. Well, like this whole first section, edgelord, because I was trying to think what I could do mentally to compare, like Lil Wayne has some of like the best, if not the best, remix rap songs of all time. Like, I don't know how he does it, but he uses influences of the original songs, to incorporate into his remixes on his mixtapes. So that's kind of like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, inspiration. Obviously, like a lot of the sexual innuendos and everything that he does in his music as well. I just knew, Thanos Skywalker was going to be like a big hit. So I was like, let's give it the Lil Wayne treatment, So he was probably one of, if not the biggest influence on this whole song. So that's kind of the angle that I was going for here. I knew I wanted to say something about Saber My Lightsaber. I just thought that was funny, but like pretty much beyond that, I didn't really have much other than that. Again, like the first line of the hook, force choke the throat goat. This is actually a different line. It was anal sex hurts her, because the original title was Thanos Sex Worker. I think that was the original title. Thanos Sex Worker. Sex Worker was pretty much like a no-brainer. I don't know why that came to me so fast. Because SW, Skywalker, Sex Worker, you get it. But I was kind of hesitant on, naming this, like Thanos, that's like a masculine name, I don't want to be like Thanos Sex Worker. I just thought that was kind of weird. So I was like, okay, well, you don't like Thanos? How about pick Ho? It kind of like, it's like the TH kind of thing, and it ends in like an O sound, So that's where I came up with Thick Ho Sex Worker. So that was actually the original first line. Force choke the throat goat because anal sex hurts her. Shithole sex, that just sounds gross. It sounds like kind of nasty. I was hesitant to keep that in the hook, but I was like, fuck it. I don't know like another rhyme that's gonna be like a adequate substitute for this. So hey, that's what we're gonna go with. I think actually like the last line of the hook came next. Holla at your boy, we could get your next slurper. I think I actually had like different lines before I changed the name of the title. But I don't remember like the order of the rest of this, but it all kind of came, I think, in that order. Kind of like in the order of the writing, so let's go ahead and get into some of these lines. You know who it is, the black, white, knuckled, edged lord. Was trying to look to something like to compare it to, Thanos Skywalker, like the Dark Lord, white knuckled edge lord. She might saber my lightsaber. It's like a double entendre for penis, right? Double edged sword, because it was a double entendre, double edged sword. Skull fucked her and her friends. That's a couple heads gored. I really love the flow of this. She won't be back to latch at her neck muscles rest, or like bringing her back to life. I'm done digging on her like a disheveled appearance. Disheveled like, you're shoveling, like that's the double entendre there. Double done digging on her, dead corpse after heads gored, get a mop because that wop leaves puddle wet floors. Kind of a low-key reference to, like, I don't know if they created this term wop, but the Cardi B, I think Megan Thee Stallion song, WAP, right? That term. And a lot of this stuff, I'm going to be fairly elusive. I don't want to get flagged or anything. A lot of this stuff, I'm sure that y'all can look up for yourselves. Urban Dictionary is free. Google is free. Pornhub, I guess it's free. I don't know. I don't do sites or anything like that. But y'all would know better than I would. Internet is, I don't know if it's free. It is what it is. Depends on who you ask, I guess. Kneel before a god. That's a reference to like the Loki scene in the Avengers movie. I think it was bow before a god. I actually wanted it to be kneel before Zod. That's what I wanted to be, but it was going to be like the only reference that was not Marvel inspired. It was going to be like the only DC reference, so I might mix it up here and there. If I'm performing live or something like that, it might be kneel before Zod. Let me know in the comments which line y'all prefer best, Zod or before a god. Be humble, beg for the power you attain from my infinity stones. That's a reference to testicles, right? Hope y'all got that one. Makes you realize why you ain't on the enemy's bone. Penis. My word was bond, bitch, from the minute we bone. Fuck all these basic bitches as common as coals. Scroll imposters and clones. I thought that was a hard bar. Scroll imposters. Enemy clones like Star Wars, right? Need a woman to hold me down after I conquer the globe. When I tear her, like tearing into her. My reign of terror. Get it? Is as sovereign as thrones. In Asgard, of Thorin, Odin, OMG, like oh my god, the gods. Mjolnir, that's a double entendre there, for ejaculating. Thought that was clever as fuck. I was like, at this point, I think that was one of the original bars. Mjolnir, all on. I was trying to find, what kind of, I guess, for lack of a better word, like euphemism I could use, and like Mjolnir just so happened to fit. I just thought that shit was funny as fuck. Another one of the bars I found like so funny, but low key like kind of sus. Not to jump to conclusions, but her tongue is stronger than Toad's. You get it? Like jumping like a toad, and then Toad, the comic book character. Thought that shit was funny. I was like, by the time I remember this was like one of the first lines too. By the time I wrote this, I was like, okay, no, this is gonna have to be a song. I have to make this a song now. I think this next line was kind of later in the writing process. This witch had a vision. The Scarlet Witch had vision. She shoved my wand. Another reference to penis. Wand in her throat. And I wanted to say duh. I don't know if it'll come out on the final edit. Like wand, duh. Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. If you get it. She knows her disobedience could cost her her soul stone. For the proper office she'll fold. If you force shit on her, she'll ghost. This is one of those references I don't know if everybody's gonna get. Force shit on her, she'll ghost. Like a forced ghost. You get it? That's how thrilled we are with the bars, you feel me? Force ghost. The force, once you pass on, may the force be with you. You could become like a spiritual embodiment of the force, But if you press, I thought this was cold too. You press all the right buttons, her Death Star will explode. I thought that shit was so funny. So funny. Our stars are aligned, they might eclipse the sky. If she's fine, tell her execute Order 69. Direct reference to Order 66, right? But instead of 66, we made it a 69. Just do it. Like Senator Palpatine said, just do it. That should definitely be a meme, if it's not already, with the Nike, just do it, but instead it's like Senator Palpatine, aka Darth Sidious, when he's telling Anakin to execute Count Dooku, just do it, or do not, bitch, there is no try. So I kind of like took two Star Wars references and like combined it into one, do it or do not, there is no try. That's a reference to Yoda talking to Luke Skywalker. Do or do not, there is no try. Order 68, but now she owes me one. Ahsoka, soaked in cum. I just thought that was clever. Ahsoka soaked. I'm her chosen one. So don't tag team my whole Qui-Gon Obi-Wan. That's like, obviously Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, right? In episode 1, Phantom Menace, when they're tag teaming Darth Maul. Hope y'all understood that reference. Tag teaming, teaming up against Darth Maul. Wish upon a shooting star. I thought this is probably my favorite bar in the whole song. Wish upon a shooting star, she don't burn like Mustafar. I thought that shit was the funniest shit. That shit was so creative. I was like, I don't even know how I came up with that shit. She don't burn. Mustafar is the burning planet where Anakin caught that fade, got beat up and burned by Obi-Wan on the planet in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I thought that shit was so funny. And then this next line: your hand solo after fisting her, you'll lose your arm. Obviously, double entendre. If you don't know what fisting is, look it up. I thought that shit was crazy. That shit was so funny. And then this next line came in a little bit later. I remember I just wrote this one like relatively recently, maybe within like the past week or two. And I just happened to edit it right here because it still rhymed with the same rhyme scheme. And the line after this was, I don't know who you are, but I thought it fit the theme if I said, she says I stabbed a knife right through her heart. Totally fits the theme, right? I thought that shit was pretty funny. If she's the Sith Lord, that's my specialty. I'm cutting her in half. Sith Lord specialty. That's just like the same when Obi-Wan said Sith Lords are our specialty when talking to Palpatine when they're coming across Dooku like that. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Funny enough, that was another tag team situation. I guess there are multiple tag teams. I guess Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan was the only one that came to mind at the time with the other previous reference. I wonder if y'all got this reference. Anger leads to suffering. Their suffering will last. After I said that I got the other bitches mad. I thought that shit was funny. Because it reminds me, I think it was the first episode 1, Phantom Menace, when they're presenting Anakin to the Jedi Council, and they're proposing to make him a Jedi, and they're like, I sense great fear in you, and they're like, Yoda specifically, I think it was, he said, fear leads to anger, so forth and so on, anger leads to suffering, and basically saying, foreshadowing Anakin was gonna fuck shit up, right? Wonder if y'all got that reference, off rip. This line, and like I said, this is just the initial. I don't know how many of these lines will stay, but I thought this was clever as hell. This is another one of those lines, man. These one-liners cracked me up. If it wasn't the Mustafar line, this is probably my favorite line. The only thing is, the Mustafar line, it like rhymes. This one, it kind of is just kind of like a one-off. Major Queen Queef, call that cunt Countess Dooku. I hope y'all get that one. I don't want to see like shirts of this one, but I thought that shit was funny. I thought that shit was hilarious. Came in her mouth a bit too soon. Yeah, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I thought that shit was so funny. That was like one of the funniest things. Like, I don't know if I should even explain that. I think y'all get it. I thought that was too funny. So I always go for the head. Obviously, a Thanos reference there. Force choker in bed, then throw Gamora over the edge of the bed. Thought this was too hilarious. Calls me your father, like Luke, I am your father. But not Luke, definitely not Luke. A Rogue One. This is one of the bars that I came out after, again, towards the end. A Rogue One, as in the Star Wars reference, Star Wars lore. A Rogue One turned her back to me, but failure brought her back to me. Obviously, Avengers reference there. Thought this shit was funny too. She on my testicles and she wants my tesseract. That shit was hilarious. Hoax about to smash. Betty. Bruce Banner mad. I could do this all day. It's Captain America reference. I Didn't Come to Bargain. That's a reference from Doctor Strange. Actually, I haven't seen that movie. I've only seen the clip. Again, like the YouTube shorts clips. I haven't actually seen that movie yet. At least not at the time of this recording. But I am familiar with that clip and that meme. So I thought that was funny. Even if she's bleeding, if she's on her period, it's a drop of blood. I shoot my shot, ain't no blanks when I pop my gun. It's basically a reference to the original, the Thanos Skywalker song. And I'm still kind of struggling with how to end this, but at least at the time of this recording, the way I ended it was sparks fly from her, love, thunder, thighs, and lightning. Like Love and Thunder. Haven't seen that movie, the Thor movie, but I heard it wasn't too good. But yeah, I haven't seen it myself. And then I end because she knows there are no men like me, and that's the reference to the Loki bar in the Avengers movie. So then after that we have a couple of these ad libs. Some of the ad libs that are worth addressing were pretty funny. Got caught in Black Widow's web. Just like some stupid shit. I thought it was funny. She might not be She-Hulk, but it's Incredible Sex, like Incredible Hulk. If y'all got that one. Triple Threat, with 3 holes. I hope y'all get that one. I hope I don't have to explain that one in too much depth. I thought this shit was hilarious. Call her Bimbo Fett, like Boba Fett. I hope y'all got that one. Oh man, this was crazy too. She don't Professor X, like Professor X, and she ain't crippled yet. From fucking. Like crippled like Professor. Anyways, I don't know. Too much or not far enough? You tell me. You decide. I just thought this shit was so funny, so creatively satisfying. At the time of this recording, like I said, this is the same day I'm recording the behind the lyrics for Thanos Skywalker. We haven't released any of these songs yet. It was just creatively satisfying. It's an exercise, my mind like this. Hope nobody out there holds any of this against me. I just thought this shit was fun. It was a good exercise. Needed it, especially after holding all this creativity in and being constrained under pressure, externally and internally, whether with work, whatever else we got going on, So I hope y'all enjoy it as much as I do, as much as I did writing it and releasing it and everything like that. So far as influences, like I said, are pretty much the same as the original, the Thanos Skywalker song. Prospective recording of this song will be the same day after, obviously, of Thanos Skywalker in Corpus Christi, Texas. Again, with DJ Mikey of Metropolis Recording Studios. Also planning to have Anna Vibes film the behind the scenes from San Antonio. Pick her up in San Antonio on Sunday, June 1st, 2025. Go out there to Corpus, do all of this stuff together and everything. It's very unlikely, due to the explicit nature, the content of the song, that we will have an AMV for this unless we release it on some other platform, whether it's fucking like Twitter X or something, or I don't know, but obviously we'll have some type of graphic art cover design that's highly reminiscent of the original Thanos Skywalker design. So far as promotions, what do y'all think about like a music video to this? Can we get like some OnlyFans models or something? I'm out here in LA, Los Angeles. If anybody be down to shoot, behind, or maybe, even by the time of this recording is released, we'll probably already even have a music video. So if you missed the boat on that, or if you're first on the boat, shout out to you. But yeah, if it's not too much for complexion, I'd also like to share this. on the Future Beats show, or at least send it to Complexion. You know, again, like it probably doesn't fit, you know, the theme of the show. It's very explicit in the nature, but nature of the song. But anyways, thought this was fun. Hope y'all enjoyed it as well. Let me know what y'all think. If at the time of this recording we haven't already released, say, like a bigger project with you know, all of these themes tied in. I do have some ideas. Let me know. Share it, you know, like, share, comment, subscribe, you know, with all of your friends that are interested in all of this type of lore, you know, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel comics or comics in general, movies, hip-hop heads, you know. Let me know what y'all think. I have a lot more where this came from. Maybe we'll start a Kickstarter or some type of crowdfunding campaign to get this whole project off the ground. I have a lot more projects with a lot more themes, much more cerebral, intricate, intellectually stimulating music as well that I'd love to release and share with the world. I think we will. It's just a matter of time. But if you want to be at the forefront of the movement, you know, get in touch. Other than that, the best is yet to come. As always, thank you again. Do what you do, whatever you do you. After all, it's what you do best. I am OMA, one who may ascend. Over and out. Peace, y'all. Stay up. We're going all the way up. Eyes to the sky.
Yo, what's good, y'all? I am OMA, one who may ascend, console trap metal recording artist. Here in our YouTube channel, you can expect exclusive content, whether it's vlogs, music, freestyles, behind the scenes. You never know what you're gonna expect, so make sure you hit your post notifications, like, comment, subscribe, share it with somebody else who might find it valuable as well. Stay tuned, the best is yet to come. We're going all the way up, eyes to the sky.